Hello, and welcome to Revamped, a rewatch podcast covering my all-time favorite shows and movies. I'm your host, Brandon Alexander.
And I'm your co-host, Courtney Autumn.
Together, we've been journeying through Buffy the Vampire Slayer, patrolling the streets of Sunnydale, but now our path expands beyond the Hellmouth as we continue to follow Buffy's battles and growth.
We also step into the shadowy streets of Los Angeles to join Angel on his quest for redemption and his fight to discover what it truly means to be a champion.
Venture with us through every episode in order as we experience the story from two perspectives, Courtney's first time watch and my seasoned rewatch, doubling down on the themes and moments that shape the Buffyverse.
We'll examine pivotal choices, major story arcs, and explore the deeper layers of each show's continued character growth and development.
All while engaging in conversations and sharing our own authentic thoughts and feelings to what's unfolding before us.
So sharpen your stakes, ready your swords,
and continue to stand with us against the forces of darkness as we journey through the supernatural worlds of Buffy the Vampire Slayer
and Angel.
Let's get into this episode.
Same day.
Literally, I actually like that you watched this episode the same day. Keeps it fresh.
It's fresh in my head that
freshy,
way.
Fresh. Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of Angel on Revamped. Today we're going to be covering Season 1, Episode 2.
Lonely Heart.
Aired October 12th, 1999, written by David Fury and directed by James A. Courtney. I love how we got all these same people from Buffy over here writing the Angel episodes too. Like they're just, which keeps the show, I feel like, how do I want to put that? Like kind of this on brand, yes, on Brandon for Brandon. It keeps it simultaneously the same, especially coming onto Angel. It makes the dialogue, the wit, the tone, and everything like that keeps it very familiar. So it makes it feel like an extension of Buffy, and that's something I've noticed like along watching so far. The first few episodes of Angel. That's actually a really fun fact that I don't have in the fun facts for later, but the DVDs and like the original air of this and stuff, I think it said Lonely Heart, and then nowadays online it says like Lonely Hearts. Like it might have said that on yours today when you were watching it with the S. That might be why you're a little confused. And also you naturally kind of think that with the S, but there's some media that have the S on the end of heart and then some that don't. And the original version of this was just Lonely Heart because it's, the one burr or demon. It's not a bunch of them or...
Yeah, I guess that makes
sense. But
sense.
It could be Lonely Hearts because of what we're talking about with the connection to all the people,
Because there's more than one.
Because we're at the club. Victim. Like, it's not just these people are going and sourcing out. They're becoming victim. I love how you say that because when Prophecy Girls did this episode on their podcast, because that was the time whenever that we in the club, we all fam, that was going around. So every time they said club, that was just like auto-generated in their head. So that's really funny.
I literally wrote it like that in my notes even. I can't remember at like which part. And when we get there, I'll say it. But... So, but I even like because it auto corrected me to club, and I was like, no, I wanted to say clerp.
Oh my god! Okay, apparently the TikTok has just brain rotted us all the last few years, so that's great. This is going to be a lovely decade. Well, in this episode, Angel hunts a supernatural killer targeting singles at a popular bar, aka the club. As the investigation unfolds, Doyle quietly crushes on Cordelia while struggling to express his feelings. Along the way, Angel meets Detective Kate Lockley, a determined cop whose pursuit of the case begins to pull her into the darker world he operates within. Guest stars this episode, we are introduced to Detective Kate Lockley, played by Elizabeth Rome. Really cool last name. Little things about her, obviously, as per usual. She's like a combo of us. I had noticed when I was looking up her credentials. She is a Taurus. She's born 4 days after me, but a couple decades before. She was born in like 1973 or 78 or some shit like that. I think 73 because like I said, couple decades, not one decade. And then I read that she was born in, I'm going to butcher this, but it's like Dusseldorf in West Germany.
Mm-hmm. No, you said that right.
Oh, look at there. So she's German. So she's, a mixture of us. I was like, look at us. I could see it though. Like now that I like noticed it after the fact, I was like, oh shit. Obviously she's most known for this role, but also had a main cast role over on the series Law and Order from 2001 to 2005. She's appeared in Miss Congeniality 2 and American Hustle. Those are the only two movies out of her whole thing that I'd really seen or have interest in seeing. Or or would have interest, I guess, in seeing, but I don't remember her being in them. So I'm going to have to go back and like watch those one day and like keep an eye out for 𝐒𝐴lizabeth. And I would say I'd go back and watch some of the other TV shows that she was in, but I don't necessarily really want to. Not for a bad reason, but like one of those being Law and Order, and you can't pay me shit for shit to watch no episodes of Law and Order. I ain't watching no SVU. I ain't watching no Criminal Minds. None of that shit is my. Just like last week we were talking about sci-fi shit. No. You will not catch me watching nothing about that type of shit. I don't like crime drama. Even though Angel's kind of crime drama. Like it kind of is. It's getting that because with the introduction of this episode, which is a fun segue.
It is. It's like crime drama.
He's an investigator. Like it kind of is, but I like it with this direction that it's taking because it's not fully focused on episodic crime features and like, you know, it is still. I mean, if you think about it, the layout of shows like that are kind of Monster of the Week without the monster. It's like Crime of the Week,
totally
Villain of the Week, still in that aspect.
But I think that it does help because, like you were saying earlier, there's this very seamless transition from Buffy into the show Angel. And I think because we know Angel as a character from Buffy, like I wonder how if there's any people that experience the show never having watched Buffy for some reason before and only starting with Angel. You know, like I wonder if that kind of person exists because I'd love to get their take on how they perceive the show not knowing anything about Buffy. That would be interesting. But I think because we know Angel as a character and we know his potential as a character because first off, he's already been alive for centuries. So there's that fact. But then that means he has the potential to live forever. So his story could evolve so great and so far beyond where we are now. So I don't know. I feel like it's nice for us because he's coming from a familiar place, so we understand him with a greater depth. But I wonder how people would perceive it if they were just like, oh, let me try this random show and not know anything about Buffy. I wonder if they would like it or if it would almost be like, what the fuck's going on here?
I mean, it probably is
because we get the advantage of knowing Angel basically and Cordelia, so there's two familiar faces.
Yeah, I guess if we're putting a twist on it right now, it kind of is like you took the show Supernatural and paired it with Law and Order or Criminal Minds and like merged them together. Like essentially, honestly, exactly like that, but with the flavor of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Thank goodness.
That was cool. That all just like flowed really well and all connected from beginning to like right now. I'm like obsessed right now. I'm like, will this be another favorite episode or just episode 2s from seasons our favorites? Because you know we love some Assembly Required. This will be the second time I've mentioned it since we started season 4 of our revamp journey. We also obviously got on a tangent just now, but we have Obi Ndefo. His last name is spelled Ndefo. Don't know what that is. I'm the worst when it comes to butchering shit, unless it's German, apparently. But he portrayed the bartender that we see in the episode, and I had no reason to look up or want to look up his credentials, so we're going to move right along. What did you think of this episode that I don't already know since we texted all throughout it and I started watching it again?
Say, yeah, you already know how I feel. Y'all, this episode was way crazier than I expected in like the best potential way. It was hilarious. I loved it. It was just hilarious to me. And I wasn't really expecting it for some reason. I think because I even think I said the last episode of Angel that we were in like a moodier kind of space. And this episode kind of canceled that out. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this episode. Brandon knows because we literally texted all day long. Since this morning when I started watching the episode and texted basically throughout the whole thing, cracking jokes that I won't say yet. But
I'm over here trying to pull up your text messages and start reading shit out. You're like, I won't say yet, and then I put my phone down.
Well, we'll get there when we get there. If I miss anything, you'll know. Brandon will call me out on that because my memory is the worst. But yeah,
6
it was
hours
a lot
ago.
Of fun. Literally though, I had a hard time too because the only downside is like I'll probably have to actually reference some of my own text because I'm taking notes and I'm watching the episode and I'm texting you. So I think by default, some of the things that I probably should have put in my notes went into text with you. So yeah, we both had a lot of fun with this episode because I know you were watching it the same time.
I know, I'll start it halfway through because you made an idea of like kind of where you were at and I just kind of clicked in the middle and then like you were texting me. I was like, oh, I'm like 2 minutes behind her, and then I sped up a little bit and I ended up like basically finishing the last 14 minutes of it. It was funny. Yeah, I did have to pause a couple of times in between that when we were talking. You're like, I was talking about Batman and you're like, 4 minutes later, you're like, oh my God, not Angel with the beam.
I finally get
like
the
speaking
reference.
of that in general, like I know we were coming off a last episode saying that Angel's show has the ability to make him as a character a little bit more funny and a little more lively with him being unalive and all that good stuff. But like this was a really silly episode. Like in certain ways, and like you couldn't take it seriously overall. I love how you were texting me saying you were kind of on the edge of your seat when the commercials would come on. You're like, I feel like I'm living in 1999 again. This is some bullshit. I'm like on the edge of my seat wanting to know what's going to happen to Kate. What the fuck's going on?
I have Hulu with ads because I'm cheap like
Same
that,
girl.
but also it's like Brandon and I made a good silver lining out of it because he literally said my thoughts when we were texting, and I was ragging on myself because I legit said that. I was like, I feel like it's 1999. I'm waiting through this like commercial break because they literally put the ads in where the commercial breaks would go in the show. You can tell. So I'm like, God damn it, it's always at a cliffhanger. So I was bitching. And Brandon was like, at least you get to experience it like you're in the true era when there was no choice but to sit through the commercials. So, yeah.
To speak on the premise of the episode, I revisited obviously it today, and I got to like write in my notes and stuff. And I was telling you and telling the last couple episodes that I didn't really like this one as much. I thought it was going to be like a quick one to go through. And this other one, I didn't know if we were going to have as much fun with it. We were just going to kind of like just get in there, talk about it, get out type thing. And I actually found myself, I think today, enjoying it a lot more. And the premise of it, like being about the dating scene and the metaphors over connection and taking someone different home every night, and like how that can make you feel like you're wasting away in a sense. I took that in differently. Really, when I was doing the walkthrough, I was noticing those themes. But today, watching it, talking about it with you, and actually having to go back and add some things back in to finalize the episode for recording, I was like, holy shit, like it really is cool. Like I like the way that they use all the monster metaphor and make an actual parasitic demon that just wants some nookie basically every night. I mean, that's what he is doing. But that thing, like, he really got it going on because he's like the most non-binary, like gender fluid fucker that you'll ever see. And that's very awesome and common for 2026 and on par with today's lens, because some sexualities can be interchangeable. And it actually kind of shows like it doesn't really matter what kind of person's finding connection, because he starts off, I say he or they start off as, you know, a woman one night and then they sleep with a man. Now, I do think it's interesting, obviously, for the times that the episode didn't have any same-sex couples meeting up at the bar. That would have been cool, but obviously it's 1999.
I almost thought it was gonna go there for
like a split. But literally. Like obviously it doesn't. It does format, you know, the heteronormative like that way, but at the same time the demon itself is interchangeable because it's okay with gender fluidity. It's okay with being in the position of a female for this dynamic, and then the next night being a male, and then going back to female and back to male. And apparently, I know I'm going to talk about it a little bit more, so I'm going to save some of that. But this demon has been doing this for fucking ever. So imagine how many people have fallen to its, you know, whatever you want to call this, like fallen victim to it. I thought that was interesting. I also did like take notice too, after the demon takes on the person, it kind of shifts them and makes them more revitalized as a person. They become like more of an enhanced, almost like, I don't know if you've watched it yet, the new Ryan Murphy show, The Beauty. It's on Hulu also. Totally watch it. It's kind of like American Horror Story because it's in the universe of like Ryan Murphy shows. I'm enjoying it. I think it just wrapped up, so you can probably binge it if you want to, but I've been watching it week by week as the episodes come out. And that's basically what the show's premise is like this fluid that takes you from like, you know, if you're 65 years old or aging, you have cancer or whatever the case, your body's deteriorating, it makes you the absolute best version of yourself. That kind of reminded me of that coming into this episode, because of how the demon, like the people look kind of average and normal that we're seeing meeting at this club, and then it has sex, does its thing, and changes into the next body. And like that woman at the beginning, I can't remember her name right now, but she ends up looking 10 times hotter. Like they all like piled up with their makeup and stuff afterwards. The guy has so much more swagger, like the one doofy guy that was like, I never really got stuff.
They have like confidence.
Exactly. So it kind of revitalizes them, like I was saying in that. I thought that was a really cool aspect too. Y'all go watch The Beauty, just to like point that out one more time before I forget to say that, because I did have like that.
I know now. I want.
It's got Ashton Kutcher in it, and like a bunch of other Evan Peters and other Ryan Murphy characters.
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher. I had to say his name specifically like that because of that. Yes, we always was that 𝐒𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐸. Like I swear, every episode so far. Yeah, because it's the teacher in the class, like Ashton Kutcher. Yeah. Like he says it in like the opening sequence in the classroom.
That's teacher, right. Yeah.
That's married to Lisa Kudrow's character. But this is also keeping up the theme. Instead of we're talking about Hereditary every episode because we haven't had any beheadings, we now talk about 𝐒𝐸𝐬𝐸 every episode of season 4 so far.
Because Angel starts with A.
Yes. The A is for Angel, not Abomination. Even though he kind of is. Anyways, I felt like it made it scarier, like the kind of villain that we're dealing with too.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Totally.
the introduction of Kate as a new character and stuff. Like, what did you think about Kate?
I love
Do you
Kate.
really? You know, everybody else hates Kate.
I do. I mean,
This
I
is all
do
for
for
one
right
episode, yeah.
now. I do right in this minute. I would have hated her had she not like let up on her suspicions and like been like, I'm gonna arrest you anyway because you're fucking crazy or something. But the fact that she was very humane at the end and self-aware and was like, okay, yeah, no, we're good. And honest. Because she all came clean. I died when she was like, just letting you know I urbexed in your office.
Active urbex. That shit was funny. Yeah, that was nice of her to do that though too, because like if he had wanted to be a dick, you know, obviously he doesn't want to bring more attention to himself, but in that moment he could have been like, cool, time to report you because you just admitted that to me, so we're gonna go talk to your supervisor right now.
No, it was like, I think she was giving it to him like it's an eye for an eye.
Exactly. That was her way of
because clearly he's not a veterinarian.
Kills me. But that was her way of reconnecting back to him at the end, and this whole episode's theme is connection, so there's that.
Why does everybody hate Kate? Does she end up being a bitch?
I can't tell you that, but I think it was fun to tell you now that like a lot of people don't like Kate. So you'll
I'll take that as a warning.
See. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll
to
see.
Be determined.
Yeah, you come up with your own overall thing. I mean, she has a story arc. I don't hate Kate, but there are some moments in the show where I'm just like, kind of like almost similar to some of the vibes that are in this episode, where I'm just like, Kate, come on, girl. But we'll have a fun journey with her. She is a little bit of a regular on the show. I'll say that without like spoiling anything. She's not like in every single episode, but you know, for a good time and stuff like that, she really does appear a good bit because obviously she has a point to be in the show.
Yeah, I got that vibe since
Let's see, what else did I write in my notes? I know we just talked about Kate. I did say that you were killing me with like the text. I know we were saying that a little bit earlier, but like the very first one that you sent me that started the whole train of everything was like, oh my God, why is Angel so hot? And I died because I texted you back and I was like, you mean the same thing I've been saying for 3 seasons now of our show? And you're like, I don't remember what you responded, but
it was about his charmingness at the bar or in the club.
So dumb. Yeah, and then I was just like, okay, well, he's always been hot. But I was like, I said he was being stupid and awkward and weird and stuff like that. I was like, if that's what you mean.
Maybe that's what I like. I don't know.
He does have a sexy face. He is cute. He's so adorable in the earlier seasons of the show too. We'll just say that.
Yeah, it was just like the way that he smiled at that girl, and I don't know. It was just like the whole interaction. I was like, oh shit. All right,
another reason to enjoy the episode, along with all the humor going on and the suspense and things like that, a little thrilling action. Overall, I think I enjoyed the episode a lot, as I keep saying, and I think it just gets better from here, honestly, too, the show in general. Like, with the exception of episode 4, I think that's going to be a funny episode to get to because it's kind of cringy, and I think you're going to be like, what the fuck is going on? Like, that's when I kind of like almost attributed this episode in a certain way.
I mean, I was pretty much like that during this episode. At one point, I mean, when the demon thing started, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's fucking weird. They got a handful, especially this season, of Angel episodes that are weird, but they also have a lot of like fun demonic characters across the whole series that are just so like, what the fuck? It's so different than Buffy. Buffy sometimes does a little bit of stuff later on too, but with the exception of, like I said, just that episode 4, like I'm really excited for us to get the next episode Angel, episode 5 of Angel, and 1,000% episode 8, just to give out some breadcrumbs now. But for right now, we got to do episode 2, so let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it.
We open in Angel's office as he sits alone in the dark until Doyle comes in with the lights to remind him that it's Friday night and he should be out experiencing the world versus sitting in here like a loner vampire, aka a slacker. I should start doing Doyle's Irish accent, but I would be awful just like David Boreanaz is, so I'm not going to do that. Because he's like, a slacker. Really?
Yeah, that was good, actually.
Perfect time to celebrate the new business. Only Angel realizes his true intentions is just to get Cordelia out and calls him out on it before she arrives, noting he does want to ask her out, but he prefers Angel put in a good word for him, leaving out the fact that he's a demon, of course. Already setting up in those themes where he doesn't want Cordelia to know this about himself, which we'll talk about later. Cordy comes in showing them the business cards that she's made for the business. We do learn in this moment, too, that investigating. Why would I do this? Because we were talking about Sarah and Leia earlier. That Angel Investigations is the name that they've chosen for the business. Because she told us last time we need to get a name on the door. We need to like create this whole home agency, our I guess that's the perfect way to put it, like headquarters. That's, yeah, it took me a second. The thoughts were there, they were forming. And she hands them over the business card, and they're sitting there trying to figure out what the image is next to the phone number. I don't know why she chose to do this. Like, you're supposed to put on the front of the card the actual name, not just the logo and a phone number. I don't know if the back of the card has like Angel Investigations on it or what. I don't know. Maybe the little clip art should have had like a magnifying glass beside it or something, or like I don't know what was going on with that. But it's so funny.
That's way too
because we land on it, the fact that it's an angel, like it's not a butterfly or a bird like the boys are thinking. And this is already our first step into the fact that like people are not going to recognize what the fuck this little clip art emoji is on this fucking card that Cordelia chose. I think it looks like an angel. Like, it was very clear.
I do too.
I also know it from Jump, though. So if I had seen it back in the day, like, because I don't remember the first time watching this episode.
No,
I could tell too. I was like, oh, that's cute. But like, I think they're just trying to make it a fun little joke in the episode that, you know, Cordelia done fucked up some shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the most obvious angel. You know, it's not like a set of wings or something where it's like, okay, come on now, you can see that that's an angel. Y'all be really stupid. It is like enough to where you're like, what is this exactly? But if you know, then you know right away. But yeah, so I didn't see anything else, just knowing what's the premise of the show is.
There's another episode in a future Angel season, I think a couple seasons from now, where we almost have the kind of energy of what's going on right here. And I'll hopefully remember when we get there to be like, this is like the card situation type thing. If I remember to call back to it, I will. But there's a little breadcrumb for you because, you know, we gotta like disperse the breadcrumbs evenly.
It'd be funny if I was the one who remembered it.
You're like, hey, do you remember? Like, maybe you'd be like, oh, this is like,
oh, is this that thing?
You won't, but we'll see. I'll hold you to it, but I won't hold you to it. I won't hold it against you. We won't play that Britney Spears song. We'll play Cher's Believe. Because I believe that you will find love after love like these people, aka you will remember in your mind the things that you need to remember that you know that I know that you don't know yet.
I knew you were going to.
Anyways, Doyle is then smacked with a vision, not just Cordy's hand. I love that little like play on it. She like smacks him and he's like grabbing his head and having an intense vision. And this is the first time we get the flashes and stuff like that and see what's going on with him. And she's like, oh, I didn't hit you that hard. Like, yeah, and like a baby. I'm like, no, bitch. He's like having one of those mind splitting migraine things that he's talking about. The vision depicts a bar with people in it he recognizes, but nothing specific other than the feeling of something is going to happen there. Angel expresses he's got his wish and they're all going out after all. Fun little way to force them out too. He's like, nah, we're gonna sit in tonight, or I'm gonna sit in. Y'all can go do whatever the fuck y'all want. He's like, God damn it, now I gotta go the fuck out. We then cut to the crowded nightclub called 𝐶𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐸, and we find a woman at the bar having a drink as a man approaches her, introducing themselves to one another as Sharon and Kevin. Sharon was her name, now I remember. He goes on to look ominous as we get an eerie musical cue, and he comments to her how he really hates places like this with a smile that screams predator. Well, I loved what I was writing here because I was like, I sound like, I don't know, I sounded some type of way writing that out. I was like reading it and I was like, ooh, this sounds terrifying. But also you automatically think that he's the I mean, he is technically the problem because we see what happens to poor old Sharon. But the fact that over the episode, a few different people kind of come up, even like with the guy with Kate later, and he's like, I really hate places like this. Like it's part of the script that people say when they're meeting. It's like their cold open or their break the ice, like tagline, like one-liner, thank you. I was just like, but this guy automatically, it wants you to let you know, like, ooh, I think he's the problem, but he is the problem. We then fade to black and cue the angel theme. Da na 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 na. You did it twice in a row. I love it. It's because you watched the theme song earlier. You were like, I gotta really get this honed in. Or do you just remember? Yes. It's gonna be fun because over time you're just really gonna have it. And you came in perfectly on cue. I'm gonna not freak out about it as much next episode because it'll be so common. But this is a new thing on the show, so I'm having fun with this. If I decide to, I'll clip all this out. If not, then haha. In 𝐶𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐸, we pass by people not able to connect with others, finding Kevin still chatting up the idea of connection to Sharon, who is totally feeding into his bullshit. We see our gang coming down the entry stairs, and Cordelia is excited to be handing out the business cards while Angel goes over and asks the bartender about the potential of unusual activity occurring there. This club is huge. Like, it has it's Los Angeles, so you would expect this, but there's a whole ass fucking staircase, which I do believe that they use as venue maybe for future episodes of Angel. I'm going to try to double check on that later. But how big is this place? Like, you went anywhere, like, there's a stairway to get up, and I'm not trying to like really relate it, but like PT's 1109 to say for like Columbia's instance, because it's the first club I know that you have been inside. We've been in there together, where guys came up and you were off with one of your lesbians, and I'm sitting at I'm just gonna tell a story. I distinctly remember sitting at a table while I was waiting for you to do whatever you were doing and like having your own fun and stuff. I was just like being a good friend and being like, well, she can go off on her little adventure really quick. I'm gonna sit here and have a drink. This guy comes up to the table and tries to talk to me, and I don't know if it's just because I was like awkward 21 years old and I just didn't want to talk to somebody or not have connection, but I swear to God, he looks at me and he goes, don't you just hate places like this? And I was like, no, you can fuck off is what you can do. Because I told that guy, I was like, I don't actually want to talk to you. And he's continued to try to talk to me. And then I just like had to be my blunt 20-something-year-old self and be like, nah, you need to fuck off. Like the way we talked back in the day, like before I was like, mature. Yes, it was awful. But it makes me think of that moment. I was like, ugh. Anyways, not to shout you out and call you out, but yeah, that was what was happening back in 2011. Doyle has to stop Cordelia from going too wild with the business cards because she's just passing these motherfuckers out like candies to fucking everybody. Cordelia, what are you doing? Like she must have ordered 7,000 of these things for her to be acting like this, but she's really excited to get out there. I'm like, girl, you got to read the room. You got to see if somebody seems like they might be in danger, or they're like, maybe not in an atmosphere like this, but like she needs to wait for the right time for somebody to approach her and be like, hey, this is the situation for this type thing. This is why you should have this card, not just throwing the fuckers out left and right. She's like out here on like it's fucking cash and everybody's like popping off or something. Like Rihanna's
she's making it rain with the business cards.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. That's where we need to be. Doyle stops her though because he doesn't want someone to get the wrong idea of our friend Angel, because obviously putting all these cards out there shows that he's not so much off the radar, because he's like,
the police, the service our friend Angel provides might put someone in mind of the V word.
Vampire?
No, vigilante. There's laws against that sort of thing. See, you need to chat people up a little bit more casual, like, Hi, what's your name? How's life treating you? What's that you say? Minions from hell getting you down?
Cordy points out how she can read people efficiently, to Doyle's surprise. In fact, unknowingly pointing out our couple that is the danger leaving together. I like when the show does this and films do stuff like this too. It puts it right in your face, like saying like you just kind of hit in close contact. You're like, who are we here looking for? And the people are walking right by you, but you don't know. And then the situation unfolds the way it does. So you never get the chance to save these two people. Like they both go to waste essentially. So that's kind of fucked up. I was like, ugh. But it's like, fuck, no, turn around, go after those people. That's literally them walking by you when you're saying the statement. It's just like a literal slap in the face. Poor Angel over at the bar has been mistaken as a homosexual and is noticed by a woman at the bar we learn is Kate, and who clearly has learned flirting from Angel in a past life. But both agree they aren't experts at talking, and as Angel tries to find out if she needs rescuing, and we grow very awkward in this moment because that's what he says. He's like, are you in need of rescuing? And I'm like, bro, no. I even texted that to you. I said that in response to one of your text messages. You were like, I'm done with this man. But also he's super cute. The answer obviously is no. She does not need rescuing. And Angel lies about being a veterinarian because he can't outright say that he's like a PI or some shit. I don't know why he chose veterinarian. I even like her comment later on at the very end of the episode, because I don't know if it's in my dialogue or not, but she's like, pretty weird stuff in your apartment for a veterinarian. I'm like, girl, did you not want to I guess because of everything that's gone on with them, she doesn't have to worry about seeing all this stuff and being like, I don't need to ask questions. Like this guy's clearly, he's helped save the day in my aspect of things. I'm at the end of the episode now. We don't have to cover the rest of it. But like, I thought that was cool tying to this. Over with Cordy and Doyle, he's plucking her brain about having people figured out, excluding Doyle, of course, because he is an anomaly and she doesn't get his useless visions that provide no context. She's like, we came here for no fucking reason and we have no idea what we're like. We're like needle in a haystack right now. But all that convo goes to shit when some guy brings up the business card looking to get some servicing from Cordelia, if we get what he means, because we do, and it's gross. I love how Doyle tries to play it off with like Cordy is with him, and she's so quick to be like, no, I'm not. I'm like, girl, listen, I was really torn between this two though, because I was like, how do I feel about this moment? Because like on the one hand, Doyle is trying to be like a good guy and kind of defend Cordelia in this situation just to kind of get him out of it quicker, but it's kind of mixed with the fact that he's obviously got a little crush on her.
Yeah.
And he's trying to kind of claim her as his, and she picks up on his claim, not to the actualness of him liking her, but she already knows that she could take care of herself. She doesn't want to be like, I'm not associated with him, I'm not dating him. Like, she wants the availability to see like she's her own free like reign of a person. Like,
she wants to be single in this environment,
exactly. So she doesn't want anything, but we know that Cordelia doesn't need someone to save her, because we've seen we have all the faith in Cordelia from what we've seen over on Buffy that this bitch can stand her own, especially even up against vampires and stuff. She knows how to tell someone off. It's Cordelia. And of course, Doyle doesn't truly know all of that either. So I was like, should he have like stepped in like the way he did? I didn't really know what to
Mm.
feel on it because I was like, you kind of take away her autonomy for her to defend herself. But I also feel like it's like nice of him to do it at the same time too. I don't know. I feel like he overstepped, but he didn't realize he was overstepping. But also in certain ways, like I said, he kind of did because he was trying to kind of claim her as his because he doesn't want another guy to move in on
But do you
territory.
think that he was? Because I feel like he was doing that in order to serve as a barrier between herself and
The
the
altercation.
problem. Yeah.
Yes, that's initially what
I
I
don't
thought.
and I think because we can perceive it knowing that he has a crush on her from our perspective watching it, I don't know so much if he was even really thinking with that, like,
Hmm.
in mind, more so than he was maybe just acting out of reflex to be like, "Alright, let me try to remedy this for her because like, I don't want her dealing with this."
Yep.
And I feel like, if you and I were together, and I feel like you would do the same thing, kinda thing, like, you would step in and be like, "No, dude, like, she's with me, like, you can fuck off now," like you
Yeah.
were saying earlier.
Different people though. I don't know. That's why I kind of raised this like thing when I was like actually thinking into it. I was like, I
But
saw it from
even
that
as
perspective at first.
Yeah, but even as someone who has a crush on her, I feel like that if I was out with a guy and he has a crush on me, and I'm not a lesbian in this scenario, obviously, but if this is the case, and even if I just view him as a friend or something, or I hardly know him, whatever the situation, if we find ourselves in the same predicament, even if he were a stranger, I feel like I would want him to absolutely inject himself in the situation and be like, "No, she's with me." Even if you gotta pretend to be my whole ass husband at that point, like, "I'm
Hmm.
gonna let you."
Especially kind of in this heteronormative dynamic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, I don't know, I'm definitely gonna let anyone probably do that that's trying to save my ass in that moment because
Yeah.
I don't wanna deal with these fuckers either, you know what I
I
mean?
mean, I
I'd
don't.
much rather a man do it because they think that they're just gonna be able to bulldoze over me because 'cause I'm a woman, So, yeah, would I rather a dude come remedy and get in their face about it and be like, "Just leave her alone?" Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for
That's kinda
sure.
my mindset. I mean, I in no way thought this guy was gonna drag Cordelia off and, like, fucking,
No.
do something awful to her and,
But,
like,
I
abduct
get
her or some
I
shit,
get
but
her point too of trying to have something to prove, kind of like,
mhm.
"Don't worry about me, I got me," kinda thing, but I don't
Yep.
know, in that case scenario, like, it's not just one dude who came up and approached you, like, he's got a friend with him,
Mhm.
and if your friend's
Which
not with
causes a
you
whole instance.
yeah, and then if your friend's not with you, AKA Doyle, then you are by yourself and outnumbered, so no.
Yeah. Well, Kate and Angel continue to chat about trusting people and how this place lacks authenticity. Poor writers make Kate call herself a slut twice, essentially, before we land on this week's theme, connection, being what she's looking for, which is apparent it's what everyone in this nightclub are searching for, except Angel, who alludes to the fact that he will know what he's looking for when he sees it. It's making this so ominous for Kate. She's like, what the fuck am I reading right now in this situation? And Kate, of course, and because of that, misconstrues his intentions and asked him to leave the club with her. I like parentheses. I don't blame you, girl.
Mhm.
Like Courtney apparently was turning straight during this moment, but he turns her down, unfortunately, for her not being able to give the reason we know, which is to catch a potential bad thing. A fight breaks out amongst Doyle and the men approaching Cordy for her whoring services, and Angel gets involved before the bartender helps break up the issue and send these repeat offender men on their way out because apparently these guys do this like every other fucking night here. A woman comes up to Angel to flirt, having seen him whoop some ass. I wrote in parentheses again, I don't blame you, girl. And Kate watches as Angel flirts with some other chick, thinking that this is part of his fuck boy routine. Of course, reading the situation wrong once more as he watches her exit, and the woman speaks to their interaction, sparking connection. Yeah, okay. Connection is just like out there like a motherfucker already in this episode, like the word connection in general. So we know that this is 1,000% our theme. But how unfortunate for fucking Kate to see Angel from afar looking like he's being a fuck boy, misconstruing every inch of every
I
single bit of like
know.
it just does not help his situation overall, whether that be like leading to her thinking he's the killer, her just thinking he's a typical fucking man, like he couldn't get with
And
her or
she
something
can't
like that, or
trust him
turned her
for
down. And
sure.
yeah, exactly. And she's already claimed that she has trust issues. So
Yeah.
on the whole scale of everything going on, this is fucked up. We flash over to later that night with Sharon and Kevin, who are laying naked in bed together after clearly having done the deed, aka connected. Poor Sharon does not at all look like she enjoyed herself and moves to leave, but Kevin claims beforehand she should stay to cuddle. Let him hold her some. She isn't resistant and lets him do as such. Wrong idea, wrong move. Sorry. Bye, Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
Back at the bar, Angel and his team speak on how they don't assume the bar fight was what they came here for and are at a loss at exactly what brought them there. Angel examining how much dating has changed in the bar scene since his day, like fucking 1743. Doyle rightly calling out how that is vastly different, and Cordy speaking on how high school was an easy dating ground due to the relatability of school life or, being monster food every week. I didn't put it in my quotes, but I'm going to put it there now for my quotes because I really like how she does the callback to Sunnydale. And that's obviously how she got connected to Xander and found connection with him was through being monster food, even Wesley, things like that. So you kind of get a callback without a full on contextual callback. They're in the big bad city of strangers now, and Cordy points out how Angel's got it the worst since he can't actually connect with people, lest he go evil again and kill all of them. Leave it to Cordelia. This combo is broken up when the bartender comes over to kick them out for closing. Back at Kevin's home the next morning, we find Sharon getting up and ready to leave, looking so glamorous and full of that vitality, the restoration, all the things. Sitting on bloodstained sheets, though, that also contain what remains of Kevin's deceased body, looking a bit drained along with the dead, because he looks very fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
Right here in this moment, too, like originally watching it, though, I do remember this and kind of like rewatching back a few years ago because I hadn't seen this episode very many times. I was like, what happened again? I was like, what did she do to him? Is she like a succubus or some shit? I was like, but wait, no, like it doesn't make any sense until later. But I just don't want any of the situation that we see later to be ever happening to me. Like if I hook up with somebody, this like the only thing I want to see come squirming out is what's supposed to come squirming out of your pants. I ain't trying to see this little fucking, which honestly they don't look that
and I'm
much
trying
different.
to see none of it.
Courtney said a phallic type thing. No, unless it's artificial, you better get your ass right back up in it.
Not even then. Most of the time, you better put that shit away.
Unless your name is Brandon. At the office, our gang searches for connections to things happening around the nightclub that stand out, finding a couple hits about people being missing or found dead or, eviscerated. Both instances being last seen at Diablique, Angel getting Cordelia and Doyle to go down to the library and narrow down potential eviscerating demons that fit the pattern while he heads back to the bar to try and find the killer. So we're like really going to be at this club tonight. Like every night. Like Angela said, he is out here bumping and thumping. He's about to find his connection. He's about to connect and kill everybody. Angel bumps into Kate immediately, though, outside before entering and apologizes for the night before, which is good because he did see what happened and he wanted to kind of like play this off here and get back on good terms with her, which is nice and kind for someone like Angel, because Angel does typically have an awareness around taking notice of stuff like this. Maybe a little too late sometimes, but I did like this. She does accept his apology and hopes that he will go in with her for a drink to start over, but he tries to persuade her to not even go in there at all tonight. These two come head to head in disagreements because he intends to go in there, and once again she's like, well, what the fuck, and realizes why she often doesn't trust people.
I'm just asking you not to go in there.
Where are you going?
In there.
Well, I'll tell you what. I can go wherever I want, and you can go to hell.
To which Angel then responds to himself, been there, done that. Because as we know, Miss Summers sent him straight to hell barely a season ago, like a year and some change ago. For him, that was hundreds of years ago because it's a hot minute down there in hell. But I like this, again, little callback to Sunnydale. It's connecting stuff from other stuff that we know of. It's really cute.
It was really funny during this part too, because right before he said it, I was like, been there. And then he said it, and I was like, yes.
You've done that a good bit with the show, to be quite honest, whenever they have moments like this. I do hate how he is trying to tell Kate, like, this is again fucked up in her head because he's like, I don't want you to go in there. She's like, well, where are you going? He's like, in there. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, hold up. First of all, how are you telling me that I can't go in there? And then on her side of things, she's not telling him, or he doesn't have the awareness that she's a fucking cop. And she's actually also there, not only on her own time looking for stuff, but she's using the field to like inquire what's going on that she's already suspecting and probably working the case in certain ways. She's getting double bang for her buck being out of here. She's trying to find Dick and the killer. But how fucked up on her side of things are her be like, I actually have more right for me to be here than you to even be here. Like, who the fuck are you to tell me anything right now? Also, you have no idea like what I carry both in identification and in weaponry. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know, it's just this whole thing. Like, it really sets up Angel to not look good in her eyes any way,
Yeah.
shape, or form from every interaction we've seen so far in this episode. Something I did want to mention talking about Angel's awareness, though, he really does need to learn how to have better social skills and awareness around certain stuff like this. Because if he had better tactics for gaining info, he wouldn't have had the opportunity to rub Kate the wrong way or kind of create himself as a suspect. He basically sets her up not to trust him, as we keep saying. And that's exactly what she ends up doing. Those issues were set in place. Like, you're a 240 something year old vampire. So you should have better skills, especially from all the times that he's seen like be so wisdomatic for Buffy over on the other show or other characters, or come through with faith, like the way we saw his
Mhm.
interactions and speaking with her and trying to guide her. He should just be better at this and like have a strong skill set here. But I was just like, why are you lacking so hard in this arena when it comes to connecting with people in certain ways? Or like, like people have
But he was
often,
like that with Buffy in the beginning.
yeah.
You know,
But he
so I
grew
think
different. I don't know.
maybe it's more like when he actually takes interest in a person or something like that, because he seemed to really have, like, chemistry with her that wasn't just like, "Hey, bitch," at the bar, you know?
Exactly.
They had, like, an interesting, like, few moments where they seemed to, like, really jive well with each other and, like,
True.
understand and have just some common ground as 2 adults in the same setting that are not the most comfortable or whatever. So, I feel like maybe because he seems to like her and already develop a certain care for her, it makes him, like,
Kinda
awkward or
just fumble and shit like that, yeah.
Mhm.
Which he did do on the other show, but honestly, that the same thing I applied kind of applies to way back then. Like, you're still this 200-something-year-old vampire. You should have, like, just a better strong suit of skills and stuff
Totally.
like that. But
Shit.
coming on to Buffy, he was also coming off of eating rats in alleyways and living in trash cans. So, like,
Says the vet.
like, I'm just like, you have so much experience in other alleys. You also have this evil vampire that has this experience with dealing with people and being conniving
Mm,
and paying attention. Angelus knows how to watch out and have an awareness for things. That motherfucker looking way
totally.
too hard. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
pull off of that. I don't know. It was just the whole thing. I was like, I need direct Angel back, honestly, because all that stuff, like even with the kids in the cellar back in Lie to Me, whenever he was telling them that they were a fool for like wanting to be vampires and just calling them out in the moment, like he should just be more direct, I think, in certain
Mhm.
ways. But like you said, he fumbles, he gets like he doesn't connect well with others, which is kind of a little bit of a sub metaphor and theme of this episode, I guess, is Angel's not inability to have connection with people, like not even just the physical way, like Cordelia was trying to mention earlier. Inside, the two both sit far, far away from each other at the bar. Kate scolding him and looking next to her to voice how men are something else to the girl that's next to her. Only we realize that it's Sharon chatting up some new nervous looking guy who's clearly geeking and he's falling for her deceptions. Meanwhile, a guy comes up asking the bartender about Kevin not showing up to work and gets told he left with some girl that night before. Angel butting in to ask who she was. Angel's like, I'm listening. Okay, well, Angel, here's all that awareness we needed. Like, you paying attention now. Finding out, though, that it was Sharon and her full name, because these people are not worried about HIPAA violations here. They're just going to give out full on stuff. But he moves outside to search for her name in the phone book to find her address. Kate watching him from inside the club out the window as he does as such, which is making her look sketchy as fuck. Like he's like trying to figure out about this Sharon bit. She's probably already being like, I'm trying to look for Sharon too. Cordy and Doyle research demons together, jotting down ones that fit the script. Cordy coming down on the side of how demons are gross. Doyle slyly trying to convince some aren't all that bad, aka him without saying it. I feel like that's gotta suck to hear when you are in fact a demon, because he's like crushing on this girl and she's over here talking about demons are icky. I would never fuck with them. And he's like, oh. Like, but that also kind of sucks, like just in the terms
I
of
know, poor
connection,
guy.
like not being accepted by someone or that part of you being also another part of the theme of connecting with people or being like shut down, or like kind of how Kate was feeling with Angel and things like that.
Mhm.
We'll talk about it later because I have a little bit in the themes of metaphor for Doyle. Over laying in the bed together at Sharon's, naked, not so much after the act, because we kind of get the sense that like either Home Dude was so nervous that he couldn't perform or he performed too fast, because he's like, I'm sorry, it'll be a bit better next time. And he's all doing
I
like his
know,
two
poor
index fingers
guy.
tapping together, looking like little puckered lips, like he's a sad boy. I'm like, damn, you like nut as soon as she touched your dick, didn't you? Or he couldn't perform because he got too nervous and couldn't get hard. Like it's one of those two options that like that's just how I see it, and like, obviously, the too
No,
fast thing
totally. I
gives her
think
a chance to
that
not be able to
yeah,
arrive.
no.
Sharon's looking displeased.
She was not satisfied for sure. That's a for sure fact.
But you know what's kind of funny? Contextually, it puts it off that way. But technically, if you think about it, and I'm kind of having this epiphany in this moment, Sharon's probably laying there because she's upset because, as they say later, the demon, it says, I already know that this body isn't the one. And
Yeah.
she already, like, it already knew what was about to occur. So it's laying there kind of upset and bummed about what's occurring because we didn't get to see that the last time and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But obviously, this dude has insecurities because of the way he just like whatever happened, what went down has got him feeling bad. So he's overthinking it in his head, but it's actually completely polar opposite of what's going on in her world, which is another fun little thing to like think on how often people like your perception isn't always reality. Like you could be thinking somebody's like, oh, they don't fucking like me, they hate me, and the guy's just over there thinking about, I think I want cheese grits for breakfast, like like stupid shit like that.
I
Like
know.
stupid shit like that. Either way, in that effect, Sharon pays him no mind, asking him to roll over so they can cuddle. Like they're cutting all that shit from the last interaction we saw. She's just like, roll over. I'm like, oh. And then she embraces him and she's holding him as the big spoon from behind. And we see Angel in another clip rushing towards her place. But before he arrives, we see a demonic parasite emerge from Sharon's chest and into this dude's back, tearing into his body. Fucking disgusting. What did you think when you saw that shit like come out? And you were just clued in.
I like backed away from the screen. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what's happening?
That's all of our
Crazy
reactions.
stuff.
That thing looked nasty too. Like, I'd say something about it later
Totally.
on. We'll go there whenever I actually have it in the notes. But that is fucking crazy. I did not expect that to be what was occurring. But now we see exactly why the other dude was dead in the bed and all ripped up and shit like that. And blood was every fucking where.
Mhm.
Angel barges in, I guess uninvited since Sharon's effectively no longer living at this point. Him finding her dead and drained in the bed as the man gets dressed, catching the last remnants of the demon settling into his backside. Um, Sharon looked way far off worse than the last guy we saw dead. Like that bitch's face looked like it was fucking Inca mummy girled from good old Buffy season 2. Like Ampata done been up in that apartment, vacuum sucked
And
that bitch out.
pasta.
Like, cause they like the bags under the eyes, the makeup effects, which I really did. I don't talk about it at all except now. The makeup effects and just like simple makeups to make someone look dead and decayed in a bed. Like that was some good practical effect.
Yeah.
Plus the practical effect in general too of the demonic parasite. They actually created this false body for it to kind of pass through and stuff. It was giving did you watch The Substance yet with Demi
No.
Moore? Totally recommend watching that too, but that's similar kind of like vibe for that within it. The guy having the audacity then to turn around to Angel and recognize that he's not human. Angel mirroring and calling this out. He's like, you want to talk? The demon speaking to how he knows this body won't last and letting us know that he's searching for the right one that will stand the test of time, knowing that this one isn't the one that he will be able to do as such in. Angel noting it will be the one that he dies in, though. And before the two can get into a brief fight, Angel sort of gets his ass handed to him before it flees. This thing kind of kicks Angel's ass for it to be like
It
some kind of demon in
really
a regular
does.
human's body. I was like, he just tossed him all around the fucking room. I mean, they were decently evenly matched, but I would say the fact that this guy got
No.
away, he had kind of overpowered Angel in this little moment. So
I feel like he was a little smaller than Angel, and it was, like, very shocking to see him just literally just handle him like a rag doll, like, he was
yeah.
just, like, tossing him around the room.
And obviously it doesn't matter what body he's in because when he's in the bartender at the very end of the episode, he's kind of kicking Angel's ass in the alley too. He's getting a little bit
Mhm.
more licks in. I mean, obviously, like they both kind of overcome him and
Yeah.
Angel wins, but at the same time, Angel struggles for a good little bit. I'm like, ugh. Naturally, in the heat of bad timing, though, Angel gets up to find Kate rushing in, spotting dead Sharon's body, and Angel trying to reason that this isn't what it looks like before Kate raises up a gun along with her badge, identifying herself as an officer for the LAPD.
I was totally shocked. I did not see that coming at all. I mean, it made sense, like, in hindsight, it's like,
Sure.
"Okay, well, all this because stuff you touched on earlier too with, like, her kind of being in the bar to feel things out and maybe kinda keep her, like, thumb on the pulse of things or whatever," but I don't know, I did not expect her to be a full-blown cop, and that was crazy. That was a crazy reveal.
I like it. I love a good reveal. We also find out that she's been tracking him since they met, under the impression that he's the bad guy she's also been looking for. And he tries to clarify, but she's not falling for his truth. She attempts to arrest him after he gets preachy about her problem with not trusting people, but she is not the time, Angel. But she has reason since he has no identification of being an investigator, which sucks because he does kind of try to point out, like, I'm kind of an investigator. She's like, "Where's your paperwork?" He's like, I don't have. That's the lacking part. Like, I like the whole dialogue in that scene. I didn't write it down, but I like the dialogue. He apologizes in advance for taking her out with a kick and diving out the window head first, running off. Us seeing the demon man sitting outside on the ledge, having heard their interaction. So this motherfucker didn't even go anywhere. He's just sitting out on the ledge after fleeing off. Like, Angel couldn't have sensed him still in the room.
Oh my
He wasn't
God.
human and shit, but couldn't know that he was still 5 feet away. Like,
Y'all,
I know he got distracted.
That pissed me off so bad.
But also, what Angel, like, I know we saw him leap off a building last episode and just like Batman that shit off. This motherfucker swan dives forward like he's Lara Croft in fucking Tomb Raider falling into a pool of water down. No, he lands on a fucking car in the street. I'm sure it doesn't hurt him because he's a vampire, but like, bruh, swan dive, like, he had to get the fuck out of there. He was like on the 3rd or 4th floor too. That shit was not cute. I was like, but it was also kind of sexy. I would so much rather see a man do that than Lara Croft's bitch ass.
You would.
I know. Sexy daddy Angel. Over at Cordy's, her and Doyle arrive to meet Angel there. Once invited in, he tells them about Kate being a cop and the situation that unfolded. Fun to note, both Angel and Doyle both make cracks about how Cordy's apartment is gross. You even texted me and you were like, I'm fucking dying over here at Angel talking about...
We don't have a lot of time today. You actually live here?
Yes. Okay. Is it my fault that maid service was interrupted? It was supposed to go home, hotel, husband. Now, can we move on?
And he was talking about a clean version of someone we know's room.
Yeah, we don't need to name drop every fucking yes. Coming off of last episode, this totally makes sense. I think it was funny because you look around at the apartment again too, because we get to see a little bit more of it in these like couple moments. And I'm like, this really is not a place that Queen C would reside in. And like Angel speaks about how he's narrowed down the demon to be a bird.
It eviscerates its victims as it goes from body to body, and then may only be able to do it after some kind of a sex act, exchange of fluids things. Yeah, lovely.
He claims that he's going to have to get back to the bar to try and track it and how they need to find its weaknesses or a way to kill it, noting it was strong and how it's going to keep looking for connection. That word comes up. I should have counted how many times they say that fucking word this episode. I did not.
Play a drinking game.
Yeah, I was about to say, you guys count how many times I said the episode and message me on Instagram and let me know how many times I at least said connection, because I'm sure the show said it a good 43 more times than that, times 5, aka 5 more plus 7. Literally us. What was I gonna say? I had a little joke. Oh, well, like, of all the names for them to come up for this demon, the Burr. I mean, I get it burrows into bodies and stuff like that, but I don't know if I'd be fucking around with that demon if I found out it was called the Burr. Like, what does it burrow into? Like, that sounds scary.
I like how you said, I don't know if I'd be fucking around with that demon. Like, which one has a good name for you? You're like Kathy. She has the same name as my mom. That's the only one.
Top I reach. I be fucking
Empada.
I'm past. I really fuck with
I fuck with Moloch.
Yep. Sid, even though he wasn't really a demon.
I fuck with his pitter patters of his feet.
Oh, great. They give me a perfect opportunity to put the pitter patters in here in the episode. I love it. All right, we're gonna stop there before we run out because I'm over here starting to think of every Darkinda Stott. Like we go.
Faith.
Oh my god, the judge. All right, I'm done.
The master.
Drusilla. We name off every fucking villain on this show.
We're just gonna start name off every character.
I'm fucking dead. Anyways, after this, we get served a montage of the demon mingling with the new suitors and taking them home, along with our first glimpse of Angel's business name on the wall, Angel Investigations. I thought it was on the card earlier, but I forgot it's on the office sign here. As Kate sneaks into active urbex in his office/home, snooping around, investigating Angel herself. You like how I had all that already tied in here, and we were literally having a whole text conversation about this too.
And I was like, she's infiltrating. They're always urbexing.
The song that plays during this montage is dope too. I forgot to put in the hold on, Angel Lonely Heart, because I don't want to have to go back and add that in later. It just says right here song title /artist in parentheses, and I did not ever put that in here. I like the song though. It's like, hey, I don't know, it's got good vibes. Damn, which one off this list is it? Fuck, there's fucking 9 songs on this shit. All right, great. I'm just gonna have to do that later.
Hey, it's Slater. The song is called Touch, and it's by the artist Vast. You're welcome.
That's what the song is. We see Angel searching through the club, as well as the demon continuing to switch bodies to new hosts over the montage too, which is actually pretty cool. We see that it's still actively creating this stuff, which it brings it back to the attention that this is kind of fucked up. You're out here looking for this stuff and it's changing every night, so it's never the same person. So it makes it really hard to hone in on who the next person that you need to be targeting is. Angel returns to Cordy's, finding her and Doyle asleep. I love how he walks in and slams the door and they like wake up. I'm like, bro, what are you trying to make a point of? Like, because they're not working and stuff like that. Like, people, they need to sleep. You do not. So there's that. Once they're awake, they inform him that they found the specific burr demon to be called Talamar. See, that sounds a lot less scary than the burr.
You're like, I fucks with that.
I fucks with Talamar. And how he has a few weaknesses, but doesn't like fire. Cordy notes that this thing's been around a while too, and I was talking about this and alluding to it earlier, but quotes that since the dawn of time kind of thing, like calling back to what I was starting to say earlier, basically saying that this is not a new occurrence going on. This isn't some demon that's just spawned in this fucking town this year or the last couple years. That means quite literally countless people since the dawn of time have lost their lives, and this thing has been for probably eons been searching for a fucking with a human vessel anyway, since humans have been around. Maybe even he's been searching for a fucking vessel. So I want to know what that motherfucker's tally mark is. Like we've talked with other demons on the show that have done stuff for years and years and years. Like, can you imagine how many people like Angelus has sucked dry over his time, and how many people he killed with Darla, and her being 400 years older than him and stuff with the Master, like all these other things. I'm just like, that to me always blows my mind when we find out something is so old and it's been doing this repeatedly. Like, that is insane. Angel decides to call Kate since she's been tracking this thing for a while, offering they work together even though she still believes him to be the killer. He just wants 5 minutes to convince her, asking her to meet him in the bar that evening.
Sure, that's actually on my to-do list this week. Walk into serial killer's trap.
Look, I don't care if you come armed, wired, and covered by sharpshooters. Do whatever it takes to feel secure. I can help you, Kate. But you just have to trust me.
I told you I really like the phone call here, and I like what he says. And I get Kate's stance based off her job and how many killers call. How many killers, though, call this calm and collected and say the things the way that Angel does on the phone with her? She should not still be doubting him at this point. And she shows up, but she's still weary whenever she shows up too. But all the things he said hit all the fucking moves. I even like her sarcasm. Talking about like, yes, because like walking into the killer's trap is exactly what I want to be doing tonight. Like it was just fun. I like the whole interaction, but I was like, okay, clearly that's not a killer calling you, Kate. And I think you realize that by the end of the call, and that's why she technically goes. It seems like she's very 50-50 on like what to believe. Thankfully, at the very end of the episode, she learns to trust a little bit, but we'll see how that all plays out. He hangs up on her, and next we find her sitting at the club that night. I almost want to say club every single time, and I'm trying to fight it. Like, it just looks like it has an R in there now. The bartender asking her if she wants her usual, but this time it's her badge presented to him, and she asks for him to let her know when that man that was in that bar fight the other night happens to show up. I thought that was funny too, because whenever she shows him his badge, she's like, because he walks up and he's like, "Do you want your regular drink or whatever?" And she shows him the badge. She goes, "That's not your regular." He's like, "Fuck, you're a cop." And of course, by this point, he's already the new infected host, and he's like, "Fuck, damn, I got cops like out here looking for this." He knows that this Angel guy is involved in some way too. I don't know. The pieces kind of come together, I guess, for him in that way. Ooh, actually, lies. I'm just now realizing in this moment, he was outside as the other guy outside on the balcony hearing Kate talk. So he probably looked in and actually saw her too. So he knows that she's looking for him too. That's why he, tries to get her in the back room.
Yeah.
He agrees, and Kate waits. Some guy attempts to come up and sit with her, and he does that whole chatter up thing. "Don't you just hate coming here?" And she's like, "Listen, I really don't have time for this." The bartender then comes up, thankfully breaking up this interaction, and states that Angel appears to be out back in the alley. Only once Kate follows the bartender back there, he knocks her out, ripping open the back of her shirt and attempting to transfer her to her body. That was a fun surprise. That's where you got your next commercial break when she got knocked out. And you were texting me like, "What's going to happen to Kate? Like, Kate's not on a date. Like, this is some bullshit." Just when it tries to emerge, he is hit in the backside by Angel, there to save the day. He gets into battle with the guy as Kate watches before tossing him and her down below in the basement, locking them inside. I didn't see what you texted me about. I even went back and tried to replay it, but I wasn't at that part of the scene originally whenever I started playing it in sync with you, and I wasn't really watching the choreography. What did you mean, like, when Angel tries to choke him out with his ankles?
Because
Like,
it
was it in
looked
this scene?
yeah, it looked like he was holding on to that cage or whatever it was, and then
Oh, like, he, like, held it
he
and
was,
then,
like,
like, lifted
holding
his
on
legs up
to
to
it,
pin
and
him.
then, like, his legs were, like, around the guy's, like, neck.
Did he
It lasted for, like, a good couple of seconds. It was just really funny to see Angel, like, flailing there in the air, but his legs, he was, like and you could see the guy was, like, like, making a noise, like, as if it was actually working. I'm like, "You know that motherfucker ain't choking you with his damn
sure
ankle."
don't probably breathe or anything like that. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. Goofy. So I guess the lady got to the bartender, and I'm surprised that this demon, like, since it frequents this bar so often, that it's only just now gotten to the bartender. I guess it didn't want to raise suspicions by taking out one of the workers at the places, or like maybe he really
Good,
liked
I
the
thought
drink.
that was a pretty fast move because 'cause I'm like, wasn't it was just a dude, then it became he, like, took someone home and became that girl with the dark hair, and then he must have
Mhm.
come as the girl to the bar
And then
directly
hooked up
to
with him.
seduce the bartender at the bar.
Yeah. It seems like
At
this
the bar.
but listen, it seems like this demon is just, like, on its back, like, for whatever reason for the episode, it seems to be on its decrease, like, its body is not even its energy isn't even hosting for a full spectrum of a night anymore or a day. It seems like it
No,
was,
but
like,
I
a
knew
full 24 hours
I
before, at least 12 to 14.
obviously, I think that its a whole intention after the Angel, interaction was to go to the bar,
Mhm.
knowing that Angel would come back to the bar to look for him, and then he needed to seduce a woman to become either so he could seduce Angel as the woman, but
Sure.
then, like you said, I think he noticed that Angel and, the cop are close and he wants directly to get to Angel, so I think that he intentionally goes straight for the bartender knowing that that's how he can become the cop or Kate, I should say.
Yeah, which
And so
honestly
that
might
way
be
he can end up alone with Angel to kill Angel
not even kill Angel. I think it, like,
or, like, pick
technically,
a
if we're
side.
going off this, and this is kind of another epiphany happening in real time, maybe it was trying to, like, square in on that so that because since he sensed that Angel wasn't human, maybe he knew that, like, and it doesn't really give you this mindset that he's after Angel technically, but in our mind, it's, like, interesting to kind of surmise that maybe he wanted to get into Angel's body because if he had that, probably would have been the body that, like, last. If
Yeah,
that's the case, he should have just been going after vampires this whole time because they have a
maybe
self-sustaining
it didn't
body.
dawn on him
But
until
does
then.
it the same thing that does that? Like, maybe he just sees Angel as another essence and doesn't know he's a vampire. He just knows that he's some otherworldly creature. And he's like, "Huh, I haven't tried this before." Like, so I don't
Maybe.
really know if that would have worked or if it would have still deteriorated Angel's body. Getting back on the practical effects really quick though, like here in the moment, whenever the demon's trying to come out of the chest to get into Kate before Angel breaks it all up, it like squeals and like squirms back into the guy's fucking chest. And like, just like the way that they made the skin look and the effects and stuff like that, it initially in this moment kind of reminded me of Tremors, the graboids creatures from those like the Kevin Bacon movie, Reba
Mhm.
and stuff back in the day. If you've ever watched the movie with the little monsters that are underground, it kind of looked like the things that come out of its mouth, the little snake like things. But I was like, it also kind of looked like it was a mix from like a little alien that busts out the chest in the movie
Yeah.
Alien. I was like, it's so goofy. I was like, I'm glad they didn't use CGI because I love cheesy practical effects. For the times too, I was like, they'd work with what they had, but I actually honestly really like it.
Yeah.
Um, Out in the club, the bartender attempts to chat people up, but unfortunately, his shirt is all bloody and half his forehead is hanging off. Before he even went out there, he's looking in the mirror trying to like stick the fucking piece of fucking flap of his forehead back because for Angel's done busted his head open quite literally. Like he looks like one of these zombies off of Buffy or some shit. It's like he's been dead for 8 years, and he looks like he's deteriorating himself in real time. Like he needs to get out of his body fast, or he's donezo. Like I guess if he doesn't switch to another body, the demon just dies. Like, even though you can kill it with fire. So maybe they should have just let him burn out. Maybe they should have just chained him up on the street and left him there. I don't know. Or is this thing squirming around the street looking for another body? I do not. There's questions that are just
Uh
left unanswered. I don't care anymore. He doesn't look quite as attractive or appealing as earlier in the episode, also. And every girl is fleeing from his presence because he's walking. He's like, "Come on, I just want connection." He's like talking to all these women. They're like, "Ew, like the fuck are
He's
you?"
got, like, his skin flap.
Gross. That's so nasty. It falls back down when he's talking to the one girl. I'm
Ew,
like,
God.
no.
And he's got, like, a shirt that's covered in blood.
Literally, it's like
I
not even
cannot.
cute. He's trying though. He's trying his hardest. Meanwhile, Angel clarifies he and Kate are escaping from a high up window in the basement that he spots, and he pulls out fucking Batman's grapple hook and shoots it up there as Kate's like, who the fuck are you? And it's so comical because he just rips down the fucking beam he intended to use as support. And you all text me talking about not the beam or like, damn that beam. Like, that's funny. Kate just looks at him. The face that she gives him is very Buffy in like living conditions. Like, motherfucker, did you really just try to do that? And she goes up and just shoots the fucking padlock that's on the door, like the actual lock mechanism for the door, and kicks the door out. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm sorry, but Angel so could have just went up there and kicked the door without having to shoot the thing. He's a fucking super strong vampire. We watch Angel break through windows, crash through doors, do all kinds of shit. You wait till a few episodes from now when we get to a certain scene that I'm going to specifically bring up right now and I'm saying, see, Angel could kick down a fucking door. Like, seriously? Okay, whatever. I'm like, but Kate can go run up there and shoot the fucking door. Oh, whatever. But I like how the woman outplays the man, so I'm gonna go with that. They run out together and eventually find the demon outside as he's just grabbed a girl and is dragging this bitch down a alleyway, looking hella disgusting at this point. This is the worst he looks so far, aka he's decomposing. Angel attacks and fights him, eventually tossing him over onto a homeless person's burning barrel and effectively igniting him on fire as it shrieks. This motherfucker still kind of gets up because it's not burning the actual demon, it's burning the body. But then Kate sends a few rounds into his body, and that contributes to both entities dying. Poor bartender.
Mm-hmm.
Insert Lana Del Rey's song "Bartender" right here. Bartender. If you know, you know. Outside, Kate confirms it all adds up to Angel as police work the crime scene, stating that the bartender was connected to everyone at the club, which actually is pretty convenient for the whole around story. She doesn't have to know exactly what was going on with everything. She still doesn't necessarily know about the demon entity to everything too. So she just thinks this is a normal crime this guy was creating. You know what I mean? They're never going to find the fact in like the eye of the law that this was something supernatural. But it also is like breadcrumbing her into this world of the supernatural too. Now she's involved with Angel, so that's a fun little thing. She thanks him for saving her life, and he mirrors the thanks back before she admits to searching his home illegally, only telling him so that they can start fresh with no secrets, noting also that he's got some weird stuff for a veterinarian, as I already said earlier. He pulls out one of the Angel Investigations business cards so that she can get in contact with him if she ever needs his help, before taking it back when she goes, "What is this, a lobster?" Talking about the damn card's logo, obviously, thus proving nobody can tell what the fuck Cordelia put on here. And basically, Cordelia needs to go back to school for clip art and figure out what the fuck she's doing. She needs to get on Canva and learn some extra little things and some tweaks here. Maybe put the angel wings just by themselves that people like really refer to an angel, a halo. It's so funny. I like how they bring it up and like Kate does it. I'm like, this really just proves that point. Cops call her over and she turns back to Angel, who has disappeared, as he likes to do. Cutting to Angel later speaking to Cordelia and Doyle about how they've been working hard and being cooped up lately, suggesting that the three of them should go out, you know, for fun. I really like this because Angel's trying to connect with them and be like, we should go out, even if he really doesn't want to, just because of everything that's happened and how he saw, like, at the beginning of the episode, how Doyle wanted to connect and go out. He saw what could happen if they did go out, yada, yada. Courtney disagrees, though, saying that they should go home because she wants to go to sleep. And Doyle comments how Angel can sit there in the dark alone. Angel is pleased with this decision as they leave, shutting off the lights for him, leaving him just as we found him at the episode's start. He sits content, alone in the dark, as we fade to black, and here endeth the episode. I really like how that episode opens and closes this way. Like, we find and end with Angel in the same stance. It was actually pretty cool.
I noticed that too. That was pretty cool.
Themes and metaphor for this episode. Lonely Heart does frame loneliness as something that happens in crowds, not necessarily in isolation, where most people feel lonely. The demon survives by moving from body to body and chasing the idea of connection rather than connection itself. And the nightclub becomes the perfect metaphor for that cycle. Every interaction feels intimate in the moment, but it's only temporary, it's interchangeable, and built on proximity instead of being truly known. The metaphor easily extends into hookup culture, where going home with someone new night after night can look like freedom or confidence, but it's often driven by insecurity and the hope that the next person will finally feel like enough. So that's something I really like about what you can find when you look in between the lines of this episode. The demon isn't cruel so much as he is desperate, afraid of being left without a body, which mirrors how people can keep cycling through the surface level intimacy to avoid sitting with themselves. Angel moves through the episode as an observer, wanting connection, but deeply aware of how easily it can be faked. Angel, on the other hand, is someone who constantly faces the fact that he cannot connect with others, not only intimately, but otherwise in general, due to him being a vampire. And this helps to continue the point of Angel connecting to the helpless versus shunning them himself from them, like we saw in last episode. The episode even gives us what I argued about his awareness earlier, how it shows his steps toward connecting to them in this way, even if it lacks, because this motherfucker be lacking so much awareness and how to do shit the right way. In the end, though, the episode does argue that loneliness isn't cured by being chosen for a night, and that real connection requires more than desire. It requires self-awareness, accountability, and the willingness to stay. I also think there's a bit of acceptance, too, that comes with the metaphor about connection and how hard it can be to connect with someone based on who you are and their perception of you, whether you can help it or not. Like what I mentioned earlier with Doyle and Cordelia's stance on demons, this makes it something that he has to now juggle, knowing that the girl that he has a thing for may avoid connection with him romantically due to his nature that he cannot control, which I also like in kind of metaphor, because a lot of people don't choose people just because of small little quirks about them, or because, you know, their ethnicity or their religious background, or like the fact that they like to eat string cheese. Like you like how it's completely polar opposite. Like, you know, the fact that they eat meat, or you know what I mean, like different types of thing. It really, I don't know. I really like the theme of connection. I think this is what like makes me like what's going on behind the scenes in the episode versus the full on spectrum. I think I really actually like this episode now that we've covered it versus how I was talking about it 3 weeks ago. But I don't know. I think it's like something fun that we're exploring on Angel, because we haven't explored some of these, you know, adult themes like this on Buffy. We're kind of starting to in the college years, but we haven't gotten to explore this in the same way because we're dealing with so much immaturity and adolescence over on the other show. And now we're actually getting to mature with these characters and see how we can explore this show in a new and different way. So I really like themes and metaphor for this one.
Yeah.
Some Angel fun facts. David Fury wrote this episode to replace his old script that was titled Corrupt, which also introduced the character of Kate. However, in Fury's first script, Kate had a crack cocaine addiction and worked undercover as a prostitute. Producer Tim Minear says that the episode was a little bit too hopeless and a little too grim. And after the WB rejected the episode, it was completely rewritten. And that's how we ended up with this, which I'm glad, because I do not need to be seeing Kate as she needed to be a cop. She be a crack cocaine addicted whore. Like, what the fuck?
That's crazy, no.
So maybe Angel was trying to save her from being a victim in the other thing or something like that. I don't really know how that was going to play out, but that was there. When Angel pulls out his grappling hook and fires it over the wooden beam, causing Kate to ask, "Who are you?" This is a direct reference to a scene in the 1989 Batman film. Doyle refers to the bat signal when he asks Angel, "It's not like you have a signal folks can shine in the sky whenever you need help, right?" So once again, contextual to Batman. We're finding he's a fucking superhero on this show. God damn it. The plot is similar to the 1987 movie The Hidden, in which an LAPD detective is allied with an alien disguised as an FBI agent to find and eliminate a parasitic alien, serial killer, and sex maniac. The monster is finally killed with a flamethrower. So we can see where they got a little bit of inspiration from. My last one, the bartender says that Sharon was talking to some Screech, comparing her comparison to the nerdy character from Saved by the Bell, which was Screech's character on that show, which he was always the goofy, non-attractive, like lower of the guys. Yes.
Yeah.
Once again, someone that people did not want to connect with. Unless you're a crack-infested cocaine whore. Like the original Kate in the script.
Named Kate.
Final slays.
Final slays.
Final slays. Kate's not a whore. I don't know. I come up with these on the fly now.
I love it.
Quotes for this episode. I only chose 3. I'll go first this time because I've let you go past 16 times, I think, for quotes first. Cordelia passing out the business cards, and she's talking about like the one guy. She was like, "We're very discreet," but then she like indiscreetly calls out the guy's looking troubled stance, and she goes, "Or is that just your lazy eye?" I'm like, Cordelia, what the fuck? You can't say that to people, girl. She's like Karen from Mean Girls or some shit. Kate being like, "How else are you going to meet someone? It's this or sit at home alone in the dark." And Angel rolls his eyes to the side and he looks off behind him. He goes, "Yeah, I wouldn't want that." So awkward. I was like, okay, self-awareness call out. So maybe Angel does have a little bit of awareness. And then my last one is Kate when she says, "What is this, a lobster?" And then obviously
not a lobster.
and that's what you texted me. You were like a lobster and sent me the lobster emoji. And obviously it sort of like not overall, but makes me think of like he's her lobster from Friends. Because
Of
anytime I hear
course.
lobster, I think of that. Someone could be like, me and my partner are having lobster for Valentine's Day, and I'm like, oh, they're each other's lobsters.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm the same way. You can't like say the word without me thinking about that. So
At fucking all. What are your quotes?
same. I wrote down a bunch.
Oh shit.
But some of them were yours. So that the lobster one was definitely mine. Whenever Doyle was like, we should be out there enjoying the nightlife instead of sitting around moping in the dark like some kind of, and Angel goes, vampire?
Yeah.
Another self-aware moment. And then Doyle again when he was like, tell her what a great guy I am about Cordelia. And Angel was like, I barely know you.
He's like, just make something up. He's like, just don't tell her about the demon shit. I really like Doyle.
And then I love the part that you were like when Angel was getting confused for homosexual because he was literally walking, some guy was walking away from him at the bar and he was like, seriously, I wasn't hitting on you. And he was all frantic.
Yeah. I felt like in the moment that was the best way to create that in my script for dialogue without having to say that whole line out, but it was so funny. But it goes to show how awkward Angel is. Like even some guys picking up on thinking that he's in him because he walked up to the guy and was like, do you need rescuing? He was like, bro, you better back the fuck up.
And then Doyle, when he said you're disgusting to Cordelia, just about having a dirty dish. She had like a dirty ass bowl on. Yeah, so funny.
I forgot about that. I love how like 3 of your quotes were from Doyle. That's
Doyle
perfect.
was cracking me up.
He is so cute.
My last one is when Angel calls Kate and he's like, I need you to help me find a killer. And Kate sarcastically goes, well, that's easy. I'm talking to him.
Yeah. Oh my God. Who'd you choose for your champion this episode?
Angel.
Oh, I chose Kate along with
Angel.
I chose Kate along with him because they had to work together to take out the Burr / the
That's
bad
true.
guy. So
yeah,
wombo combo of both of our entities this episode because Angel had some help. Weekly Wiggins. What was yours?
That guy's skin flap.
That's mine too. I wrote home dude's head along with the fact that he was walking around acting like he was totally normal trying to chat people up.
While he's like rapidly decomposing.
Blood all over his shirt. Like he just killed 4 people. And they're like, okay. That Slade moment. Mine was Kate taking out her gun and shooting the door lock off after clearly being a clearer thinker than Angel, who, as I said, could have just kicked or punched the fucking door down. Like we saw Buffy in the very first episode rip a whole fucking door handle out the fucking door frame and kick plenty of them open. Like when they're running from the hornets or wasps in the I Only Have Eyes for You episode. She like kicks the fucking door down then and gets them out of the fucking school because the doors are all locked. Like we've seen her tear up shit all the time. Like I know Angel can kick down a fucking door. Some vampire. Anyways, rant over. That was my Slade moment. Went to Kate.
Yeah, no, mine was Angel being smart enough when he was overhearing the conversation at the bar about how so-and-so didn't show up for work and he's not answering his phone. And last they saw him was with this random girl. And Angel's like, what girl? And I'm like, thank you. Finally. That's another moment that could have just passed right in front of your nose and you would have just been like none the wiser. So that was part of it.
Angel's using that vampire hearing then. Plus also just sitting right there. All right, so Larette predictions. The next episode of Angel is entitled In the Dark.
Well, that just makes me think of, is he just sitting in the room the way we started and finished the whole episode
Yes,
long and everything else is going on outside?
I'll give you slight
Is
spoiler.
it in the dark, like he's in the dark about something? Like he doesn't know about something?
I don't think so. I'm going to slightly, I don't know if I want to call this a spoiler, but I'm going to let you know. Obviously, we have to do a double feature on Sunday if we're going to watch episode 3 of Buffy, because both episode 3s of this series connect to one another. The episode of Buffy for episode 3 of season 4 is entitled The Harsh Light of Day, and Angels is called In the Dark. So we see our first little crossover between the two shows, like one after the other.
Nice.
And more intensely than you see it as far as like making phone calls or references or things like that.
I see.
We're gonna have some people from the other show up on this show. So We'll put it like a breadcrumb. I'm not going to tell you who or how or what, but as soon as me and you sit down to watch The Harsh Light of Day, you're going to be so pumped to go to the Angel episode afterwards because you're going to be like, oh, fuck. Like, I can only imagine. So it's going to be great.
Oh, yay. Exciting. Okay.
Yes, that's a really good one. Anyways, what do you all think of the intro to Kate Lockley's character? Do you think it will help having a police presence within the show? Does Angel need to take some lessons on how to talk to people or at least learn some better cues when socializing? What do you guys think about hookup culture and the connection theme that we've got going on in this episode and how it applies to technical real life all across the spectrum, even to this day, and probably more so, even worse in the time that we sit in now? Let us know, and we will connect more with you next week. See what I did there? Catch you all next time.
How'd you find me?
I've been tracking you since last night.
Listen.
Don't move. Not a step. Backup is on the way.
We're on the same side. I'm after this guy, too.
You telling me you're an investigator?
More or less.
Where's your license?
That's the less part.
Right.
Kate, you don't know. You didn't see
what I see is the carving job of an impotent sicko. It's frustrating, isn't it? Not being able to connect, to love like other people. I mean, how do you get him to trust you, Angel? Give him the big dark eyes, the I'm not good with talk speech.
But he gives them what they're longing for.
And that is?
Hope. That their loneliness might end and he's gonna keep doing it again.
Unless I let you go so you can stop him. Save me the lines. I've heard them.
Yeah, and I've heard yours. Something about not being able to trust people. Turn around.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Angel on Revamped. Be sure to join us next week for a new episode release as we continue the fight for redemption. We would love to hear from you, so share your thoughts and perspectives on this or previous week's episodes by following us on Instagram and sending us a DM at revamped_rewatch podcast or by emailing us at revampedrawatchpod@gmail.com.
And if you're interested in A World Left Behind, check out my show, Echoes of Elsewhere, an urban exploration podcast where I uncover the hidden mysteries of forgotten places, interview other explorers, and share with you my tips and tricks of the trade. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Until next time, remember, if nothing we do matters,
then all that matters is what we do.
This podcast is dedicated to the Buffyverse, to its fans, and my sister, Tiffany Dawn Pearson.